What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Figure It Out! Out of the Basement's action figure talk show. Of course, I'm Nate. I'm joined with Justin.
What's up, guys?
And Steven. And today we are talking about the death of Toys R Us. Ooh. So, of course, if you've been living under a rock this past week, Toys R Us is going bye-bye.
They're going belly up.
They're liquidating all of their assets.
They're putting down Jeffrey the giraffe.
Yes.
They're taking him out back and finishing him off for good.
Toys R Us is going bye-bye, which, of course, if you're a collector, if you have a childhood, you have some you have some fond memories of Toys R Us, probably. So we're going to talk about some of the good. We're going to talk about some of the bad. We're going to talk about what maybe could have been done to save them as a company, because we are all pretty big Toys R Us shoppers. I've been going there for a very long time. Steve actually used to work there.
He lost his job, so feel free to send up
one
a
life
GoFundMe.
equals one prayer.
Let's reminisce a little bit, guys. Justin, you've got a wonderful Toys R Us story. The very first action figure you ever bought.
The very first 6-inch action figure I ever bought.
As an adult collector. So go ahead, Justin. We've told this story on the show before, but it's worth telling again because it's just a beautiful story.
It was my birthday of, what was it, 2016 or 2015?
That was 2015.
2015.
Yep.
It was my birthday, and I got the Snowtrooper officer commander, whatever he is, the one with the pauldron.
The First Order Snowtrooper Commander.
Yeah.
Which was a Toys R Us exclusive.
Yep, true. Was a Toys R Us exclusive. We put it back, and I was like, let's go somewhere else.
Because Justin, for whatever reason, started out as a 3 3/4 inch collector, and me and Steve were like, no. 6-inch or bust.
True. So we ultimately decided to go back, and I purchased it. There was one left, and it just destroyed my bank account with the coming year. Collected around, probably around half of the Black Series 6-inch line in 1 year.
Yeah.
Probably more than half, honestly. I'm very proud of my orange line figures. Not found at Toys R Us, but
of course.
Honestly, I've been going to Toys R Us since I was a child, and I didn't really shop there until I became a action figure collector. I didn't really go there for toys or anything, video games, just because Walmart, GameStop, Meijer, Amazon, eBay, there are plenty of other, even Best Buy is starting, it has a toy aisle.
Yeah.
Multiple toy aisles, and they're even going into collectibles. So it's sad to see them go, because they were a store that was 100% dedicated to that kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
It's not like Walmart where they literally have everything. So it's kind of like, I have mixed feelings about big, huge companies taking over, but at the same time, that's just how the world works.
Yeah.
It's not really going to work out for a business that just wants to do toys, I don't think.
Right. Especially a business like Toys R Us that just kind of refused to get with the times.
That's the main thing. It's not that a chain that focuses just on toys will just fail automatically because of Walmart, Amazon, blah, blah, blah. There's a high chance. Yeah. However, Toys R Us's fault would not get with the times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their website sucked.
They canceled orders.
Their customer service is terrible.
Abysmal.
And their in-store stock, never good, at least in our area.
Yeah.
And their prices were at least not double regular retail, but definitely above.
Definitely above for general things. And their funny little thing to throw in there, their Black Friday sales. Everything's full price. Their liquidating sales. Everything's full price. They refuse to put anything on clearance. At least the one we went to. Yeah. In our area.
Our local Toys R Us, I know it's a case-by-case basis, because I've seen people go to other Toys R Us's that have clearance sales and always are trying to get rid of their stock, but our specific local Toys R Us just refused to ever do any sort of clearance. They have literally had the same Interstellar 2-pack from 2014.
Don't let me leave, Murph. Don't let me leave, Murph! No! 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 No!
They've had it since it came out, and it is still
They've had it for 4 years.
$58.99, no matter what.
4 years, the same exact product, no price change.
And it's never sold. It's just the same one that's always been there, and we always find it. Because it'll get hidden from time to time, and you'll think, oh, someone actually bought this. But then, no, it just pops back up.
Yeah.
It's just like someone hit it.
And we know it's the same one.
Yeah. Because it's like the box just continues to get in worse and worse shape.
Yep.
So,
and you know, like, usually, okay, so Toys R Us was just toys. So let's compare this to something like Menards or something Lowe's.
A hardware store.
Yeah. 100% hardware. Anything you can do for hardware. Just like Toys R Us, anything you can find for toys. The employees at these hardware stores, the regular ones you meet, they might not know, but they'll call someone who, like, actually knows what they're talking about when you're at Menards or Lowe's. Or at Best Buy. The employees actually know, like, this is my area, and, like, this is what I'm, like, not an expert in, but you at least, like, know what you're talking about.
Right.
Toys R Us employees, which, no offense to you guys, I know you're just, you know, just trying to get by or whatever, but, like, the Toys R Us employees had absolutely no knowledge of anything.
Yeah.
Well, as a former employee at Toys R Us, I can confirm to you that no one gives a fuck about learning any product knowledge or doing anything along those lines.
Yeah.
So there's nobody to help you. There's nobody to say, oh, will there be more of this stock coming in? Are we going to get more of this? Where can I find this? Like, you're not going to find any of that kind of help in a Toys R Us.
Never forget the Toys R Us exclusive Groot that was on the shelf. So the Toys R Us exclusive Groot, it was on the shelves, and me and Steve go to buy one. We both go to buy one apiece, and they tell us that they're not on sale, and they can't sell them to us. So we're like, okay, why are they on the shelves then? And of course they were like, oh, we don't know. They just ended up on the shelves because no one cares. But so they offered to hold them for us, and so we were like, okay, we'll like, you know, we gave them our names, our phone numbers, and then they were like, come back on whatever day it was the official release date, and we'll sell them to you. So, Steve, you were the first person to go back there.
Yeah.
And what'd they tell you?
I went in there, and they told me that they weren't holding figures for anybody, and they don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, you took my name down and everything, and I could fucking see the figure behind the customer service. And she's like, I was like, check. I was like, what about this? Like, she just like refused to even look at it. I was like, no, we don't do that. Like, we've never done that. We don't do that. I was like, okay, well, can I talk to someone else then? And then she called another lady over there. I was like, yeah, they're holding that group for me right there. And she's like, oh, okay. And I took the Post-it note off, like, you know, Steven? I was like, yeah. And then they sold it to me. But it's like, she was trying to convince me that they weren't doing that.
Right.
And that they didn't have it.
And if you would have been one of those people who were just like, oh, okay, like, that's fine. Which, I mean, it's not like you freaked out or anything.
Yeah.
But it was just like, why would you not, like, have a level of, like, knowledge to all of your employees to be like, hey, there's these things that are going on? Because, like, I went in, got mine no problem. I don't know if I just talked to the right person right off the bat, but I was like, yeah, I'm here to pick this up. And they were like, oh, okay. And then we got out of Marvel Legends anyway.
Yeah. And another thing that Toys R Us did horribly was their collector vector.
Yeah, the collector vector.
Where they had a prime opportunity because they're the only retailer around this area, around pretty much anywhere that actually sells things like NECA in store besides like FYE.
But the thing with the mall stores, the select few of them that do, they hike the prices like $10 extra.
Yeah, like $10 extra. But Toys R Us actually would have them for retail, and 100% of the time they were picked clean. Yep. If you would just order more, stock more, there was obviously a demand for that. I feel like there was just mass confusion about demand with their store, because they'll have 10 sets of every single Lego set you've ever imagined.
And they just don't move.
And they don't move ever, and they're like, why is nobody buying these?
Or the DC multiverse figures.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But
the amount that they have.
I feel like if Toys R Us would have just focused a little bit more on the adult collector side of things, making sure NECA figures were in stock, making sure other more desirable figures for adults were also in stock, and not getting into the import game randomly like towards the end of their like time as a company, because our Toys R Us, you know, they announced it last year that they were closing some stores, but our store wasn't affected because ours is in a pretty big area. A lot of people go there. So they started getting SH Figuarts figures out of nowhere, which obviously are like $50 to $60 action figures, clearly for adults. But they got like old SH Figuarts, not like current ones, not like new release ones, but ones that had been out for at least like a year. So they all just sat on the shelves too and just added to the problem, because everyone that
probably just found them somewhere.
They probably got them for a really good discount deal, and just bought in bulk and distributed them to all their stores. So like you would go there, and we were like, oh, they're actually making an effort. They're going to start carrying more adult collector-friendly things. Because half the time you go into Toys R Us, it's all adults. Like, it's all dudes that are like our age.
Yeah.
So I was
totally respectable.
Yeah. And to like correlate with, like, we see mainly adults in there. So obviously we're more like collectors. And I mean, that goes hand in hand with just having a toy store in general. You're going to have a lot of toy collectors go there.
Mm-hmm.
And what they handled very poorly when, as you can see, our past two Toys R Us Force Friday midnight releases.
Ooh, no Force Friday this year.
They have absolutely no control over scalping.
Yeah. So
everyone's lined up outside the store. The first two people get all the figures, and it's not just action figures. It's not just, oh, you guys are only caring about the 6 or 7 inch action figures. There's Lego sets that I'm sure were scalped. Mm-hmm. For Last Jedi and Rogue One and all that, and like there's plenty of other toys that I'm sure people scalp. Like you said they did it right for Amiibos, but they just don't do it for Force Friday?
Yeah, when I was really big into collecting Amiibos, anytime I would go to Toys R Us for a new character release, it was always one per character per customer. But for whatever reason, for Star Wars and bigger stuff than that, it was like, nope, have at it. Take all those Death Troopers.
So, yeah.
And like on the opening night, knowing that there was going to be a line, they ordered like one case.
Yeah. They literally had one case of the Last Jedi, like first wave of Black Series figures.
And didn't get any more for a good
long
2
time.
weeks, I'd say.
Which, that is a problem of just every single retailer in general. That's not 100% Toys R Us. It's every retailer for that type of stuff. But just like the poor handling, it was such a negative experience both times. I don't know why we did it twice.
Yeah.
Now we won't have to do it.
Yep, especially this year because it's solo anyway. So, but yeah, and with their online website, I've got a pretty annoying story. I ordered, because at the time the Snowtrooper officer was pretty rare, pretty hard to come by. So they had him up on the website, and I was like, sweet, I'm gonna buy this one, and that's going to be it. So I got it, got the order confirmed, shipped out, got it day of, opened it, and what was it? A regular Snowtrooper. And so...
What a nightmare scenario.
Yeah. And
nightmare.
At the time, that figure was way more valuable, but that wasn't what I don't care about that. Like, that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So
I hit up customer service, and I'm like, yeah, you guys sent me the wrong figure, and do you have any more in stock? And they were like, no, we don't have any more. And I was like, okay, so you guys just screwed me out of this really valuable figure, sent me the wrong figure, hoping that I wouldn't notice that it was not the correct figure? Because they were like, oh, the UPC codes are the same. And I was like, no, they're not. Because the exclusive figures don't ship with the regular ones. So someone willingly scanned the wrong figure and put it in the package and just hoped
that's
exactly
that I didn't
what
notice.
it was.
They're probably... just thinking you were like a casual like mom or dad or something. Like, I'm just gonna buy this toy for my son.
Yeah.
And they just thought, oh, let's just put this one in here because it looks similar.
Yeah.
Nate Martin sounds like a casual normie to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dad.
And their options for me were to send the figure back and just get a refund, which obviously I was like, that's stupid. Why should I pay to ship this back to you guys just to get a refund when you can't?
You should have sent him the Black Series box with just taking a big old dump in it.
Yeah.
And then send it.
Like, all right, I'll send it back. And then I refused that. I was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to send it back because like that's just completely ridiculous. I didn't have the figure, so I was like, I might as well just keep this one if you guys can't actually fix it. So then they were like, oh, okay, well, do you want a 10% off coupon? And I was like,
so you can pay for something at regular retail price?
Yeah, and the funny thing is I was like, sure, can I use it for in store? And they were like, no, online only. So I was like, okay, so pretty much you guys screwed me out of this, and you're offering me really nothing in return because Toys R Us's website is a nightmare and a joke, and there's never anything in stock on the website. So I was just like, okay, that's your customer service, huh? So that was a pretty annoying experience.
Yeah. You know, you could talk to us about numbers all day, but all those articles have already been published. There's already been a million videos.
So many hot takes.
So many videos done on what actually went wrong. This is just our negative and positive, just our overall thoughts of the store closing. That's why we're not really getting into the specific, like, factual data.
There are some really good videos that go way in depth with like the actual information on the ins and outs of the company.
So we really think that honestly Toys R Us could have avoided a lot of the problems that they've run into if they would have kind of cut down on a lot of like I hate to say it, but like kids just do not go to Toys R Us anymore. Like, parents aren't going to Toys R Us anymore. Like,
it's fucking expensive.
Right, and people know, like, Amazon, Walmart, Target, all these places you can get figures for cheaper. You can pick them up. They actually do clearance. So, like, going to Toys R Us, it was pretty much just adults like us looking for specific things. And I think if they would have expanded their collector's section sooner with a bigger variety and not just SH Figure Arts, maybe get some little higher end stuff like, the Mezco 112 or maybe even Hot Toys.
Yeah,
like, I'm sure if they got a couple of those, they would sell because the big 1/4 scale NECA figures always flew off the shelf. Like, you'd see them once and then they'd disappear forever. And my final remark to you guys is the upcoming Zuckuss for the Black Series is a Toys R Us exclusive.
That's probably going to be the rarest Black Series figure of all time.
Like, I'm really curious as to what they're going to do, if they're going to keep it a Toys R Us exclusive and maybe you can only pick it up online. I really hope that's not the case. I'm hoping for them to just say, okay, this is not an exclusive anymore. It's available everywhere. Or just switching it to, like, maybe a Target or a Walmart exclusive. Because right now, Toys R Us's are going to close very soon, and I doubt Zuckuss is going to be out in time for that to actually hit the shelf. So
I guarantee it'll change.
I really hope it does, because if it doesn't, that'd be really stupid. But we don't have a lot of information on that. And so, out of the ashes of this closing, boys, a certain KB Toys is making a comeback. This was surprising news. I was honestly shocked because obviously KB Toys, something that almost every single person around our age and a little bit older just reminisces about because it was the best toy store. Really good prices, huge selection of stuff. They sold like mostly older toys. Like, it was kind of like a second hand but like a new store, you know, kind of just like sold overstock. But it was always a great place to get really cheap toys. I remember buying a lot of Metal Gear Solid and Resident Evil toys from KB way back in the day. They always had those, and I was always like, wow, awesome. Unfortunately, they closed, and then that's when like Toys R Us became the true like reigning king. Because I feel like for me, I was a KB Toys kid.
I was both. I always went back and forth. I didn't have any allegiances back then.
KB was in the mall. It was right there. You know, your family's going there because they want to go to JCPenney or Sears, and then you're like, well, we're right here. You know, we might as well go into KB Toys.
Back in the day, around the Indianapolis area where my grandparents live, there was like a KB Toy Works is what it was called, or something like that. And it was a huge store, kind of like a Toys R Us style store, but it was a KB toy, and it was fucking huge. And I used to love going there when I was a kid. I actually bought an AT-AT walker.
Nice.
Back in the 90s.
So, this story, I'm reading it from the New York Post. It's been posted everywhere. I'm sure you guys have already seen it. But Elliot Kassoff, who is the chief executive of Strategic Marks, which is the company that owns the KB brand. He bought the brand after Toys R Us, who actually owned KB Toys, just let it sit. They didn't do anything with it. So he bought that from them. And this is what he had to say. Quote, "My original idea for the KB brand was to relaunch it online. But everything changed when Toys R Us said it would liquidate its 730 stores." So he is partnering up with a retail pop-up group that is going to help KB Toys actually get physical stores by the holidays this year. This is what he's claiming. Now I feel like
that's a big claim.
I don't necessarily know if I believe all of that.
That's quick.
Especially, yeah. And if I have to imagine, even if they do get stores up, it'll be like, 2 stores in California or something. Yeah. It's not going to be a nationwide rollout, so it's something that is just kind of cool. Maybe take it with a little grain of salt, but they definitely, it seems like the guy, he understands, like, you need to stay competitive with brick and mortar stores, but also staying competitive with the online side of things. So I'm hoping with, KB kind of being like a discount store to begin with, like the brand, maybe it comes back, and then maybe they maybe price their figures similar to like Amazon or something, where, the older a Black Series figure gets, generally the cheaper it gets, for the most part, besides like super duper desirable characters. But hopefully it comes back and they can do something like that, because that would be really exciting to have like a brick and mortar store that would have competitive prices like that. For sure. Instead of just full price all over the place. So, Steve, what do you think? Are you excited? Do you want this comeback?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I personally don't really care about Toys R Us folding. It's their own fault. Of course, I have a lot of fond memories there as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was always a good time. But as an adult, when I became a collector, going there was always a nightmare.
It was frustrating.
And working there was a nightmare too.
Yeah.
By far the worst job I've ever had, I think. So with the news of its demise, A, it doesn't surprise me. B, I don't really care. They did themselves in.
Yeah.
And
like part of me, I'm not really a nostalgic person, so I'm not like super nostalgic about going into Toys R Us as a kid, but just part of me is just a little sad that like a store that focused solely on toys is going under.
Yeah. I
think that's what really is like, damn.
Is the idea.
Right. But Toys R Us itself, absolutely agree with you. They did it to themselves. Like, they could have easily fixed their online store, could have easily had sales, or better sales. Not just, we've got 87,000 Jins and Cassians, and they're buy one get one free. So buy one for full price and get another one. Great. Like, stupid sales like that when it's just all peg warmers is really what I feel like did Toys R Us in. Justin, do you have any closing remarks here?
Well, I agree with you. It's just the fact that a store that is primarily focusing on toys is closing. It's rather sad.
Thankfully,
but at the same time,
yeah,
we still have Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon.
That's what I was just about to say. Thankfully, we got Big Bad Toy Store still. We've got Amazon, so we'll still be able to get our NECA figures at a reasonable price fairly quickly.
It's just the more stuff like this happens, just the bigger Amazon and stuff like that.
That's
is
what
get.
sucks.
They're gonna become the massive empire.
But wait,
that's the big downfall of it.
What if Amazon opened up a toy store? Huh?
I'm first in line.
It kind of just sucks that, for me, I could get Black Series anyway, but for NECA, that was the only place you could physically see them. Well, like
Check
we
the
said,
peanuts.
FYE with
But
FYE with their $10 more.
Yeah.
It was the only place where you could find NECA figures for retail in person, so you could check the paint and just, you know, go on a hunt, because, you know, our hunts are dead.
Yeah.
Because it's all Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon from here. Except for Blu-rays, obviously, but...
Especially after The Last Jedi, like, the spark of collectors that have just randomly appeared in our area. Like, I feel like hardly anyone used to collect, but this revival of Star Wars has really, like, muddied up everything. And just a bunch of people getting into collecting, which is fine. The more the merrier, however, it makes it way harder to find desirable figures.
Because also, more people will find out about scalping.
Yeah.
And people will scalp all the Captain Rexes.
And people will start using things like BrickSeek, which obviously are fairly accurate when it comes to certain retailers like Walmart. So it's just getting harder and harder to just like go out and find something good. So we've all turned to just buying figures online. And frankly, I'm fine with it. I like it just comes to my door and there it is. So those are our thoughts on the closure of Toys R Us. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. What do you think Toys R Us could have done better to prevent their untimely demise? Of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And of course, subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about action figures, movies, comics, TV shows, only when Game of Thrones is on.
See me the running joke.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm Nate. I've been joined with Justin.
See you guys later.
And Steven. And we will see you next time on Out of the Basement. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Nate here from the... What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Nate here from Out of the Basement, joined with Justin. We're doing the wrong intro.
Yeah.
Well, what do I say for Figure It Out?
Welcome to another episode of...
Okay. Do I
And then you go, I'm Nate, and I've been joining Justin, sup guys, and Bucky.
Guys, sup? Got him. Alright. Here we go.